Do you ever see something and just have to make one of your own? It's time for a frog mech. Let's go. I recently found Yaya's page on Instagram, and he has an amazing drawing style. One of his drawings caught my attention, and I thought it would be a fun project to replicate in Blender. I spent an unreal amount of time on this model. Probably 20 to 30 hours, but I'm still just learning as I go. I designed it with resin printing in mind and split the parts into 8 separate pieces. I printed one at 100% scale and it was bigger than I wanted. I started the modeling process with the forearm at about 20 millimeters, and I just went from there, so it got pretty big. After that, I printed another one at 65%, and it was more of what I planned on working with. The supports I used were mostly just auto supports from Lychee, so it wasn't perfect, and I could have angled some of the parts better. The cool part is the arms and legs can be attached in different positions due to the polygonal pegs. Yeah, I'll paint the smaller guy for now. But first, some cleanup. Whenever you sand resin, you need to be wearing a mask to protect your lungs from the dust. Wet sanding is even better, and I was using some alcohol spray to keep the dust down at times. The leftover nibs from supports need to be removed as well. Layer lines sometimes show up based on print orientation, but I'm not knowledgeable enough to avoid them in cases like this. And once everything is cleaned up, I wiped everything down with some isopropyl alcohol. I prepped everything for spray primer and I hit it all with some black. I wanted to match the illustration as best I could, but the red I started with wasn't cutting it. I also decided to dry brush the metallic areas with some silver first. After that, I grabbed some paints that I haven't touched in probably a year. Mainly because of the smelly solvent, but these were exactly what I wanted to get the desired finish. And because I hadn't used them in a long time, I forgot that you need a very soft brush and to apply the paint thick to get an even coat. And with the gloss red done, I moved on to some details and other colors. Like Mr. Frogman himself. I mixed up some green and added yellow and beige until I was happy with the shade. I painted the eyes and pupils too. And once the yellow-orange accents were added, I decided to tint the eyes yellow as well. I'm not really sure if that was a good idea or not. What do you guys think? The red color wasn't as rich or warm as I hoped, so I added a little scarlet red lightly over the top to shift the hue. I also added some little accents with Tamiya black panel liner. And I painted the cushions gray. A black acrylic wash helped to bring out more detail as well. And I touched up the jetpack before adding grime and soot to everything to tie it all together at scale. This was just a Tamiya black weathering powder. On to assembly. Here, you take a nap for a second. I glued the hands into the arms, and I probably could have just attached these before printing. Let's start off with an action pose. Coming in for a landing. This frog mech was really fun to bring to life, and now I can make one whenever I want. And if you want to make one, you can too. This will likely find its way to my Cults 3D page, and I always post my 3D models for my Patreon supporters. Special thanks to Adam, Andrew Price, Spaghetti a la Mode, Harker, Kitsch, Paul Bechtel, JC Hayes, John Stamosification, and of course Gamey Builds. You guys are awesome. Thanks for watching the video. Go make something, and I'll see you on the next build. I think it's big enough now. 25/8. That's a big dude.